Okay, are we live? Henry McClure live. Man, it's the day after Christmas. And all through the house, this creature was stirring, but not like a mouse. That's kind of funny. Hey, do you want to see hydrogen water get made? Watch this. So I've been reading about hydrogen water, and oh, you can't really see it. But this is Henry McClure live. I'm in the studio out at 520. The home studio is a little more humble as far as our the equipment. I guess I could get some microphones and get it going, but I just love going to the office, believe it or not. It's a nice sanctuary. I'm over at 3625 Southeast 28th Street, 29th. I lived on 28th Street for a while. I used to have to eat all the dust off of that site there before Wheatfield got built. Old Lindemuth, he chewed up a hotel and he left like a football field worth of rubble. And it was Paul Post's birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Paul. And even Paul thanked me for the post I made about the dust. There again, the city of Topeka didn't follow its own rules. The city of Topeka didn't follow the code. Mike Halligan, I think, watches this from time to time, and I would love to know what he was directed to do, because this was back when you were in code compliance, and I made many complaints to code compliance over that. I know this sounds like Festivus all over, but I'm mad. I don't want to I'm not happy with the way the Topeka government treats people. And I'm one of them. It's just like this AT&T deal. It's out of control. Let's talk about doing good things. And don't forget that the new hotel was bought. That was also built to make a profit, but also it was a tool. Hey, look, there wasn't a nice enough hotel for his clients or the people that he worked with to build that hotel. So he built the hotel and risked capital. Oh, hear that? It just buzzed. And hydrogen water is really good for you. Look at the effects of it. And these little, here, let's see if you can see it. See how it turns colors and it bubbles? It's bubbling. I did some research, and this actually is turning that into hydrogen water. Oh, one other drink I've been drinking. Bianca was really concerned about dead parasites in our body, and so we looked into a cleanse. We bought these drops that you can make a tea out of, but I got on the net and started searching, and with you boil cloves, you put some ginger in it. You can use, ginger powder is just as good as fresh ginger, and it's just so much easier to manipulate. Working with fresh ginger is very difficult to me, at least. It's just not worth it when you can go to get the ginger product and then some bay leaves. And let me tell you, the results of that tea, they're incredible. They are incredible. Okay, so real quick, let's go back to Christmas. Thanks. And it was really fun to see my niece, Franny. Um, and I got to meet my grandniece for the first time. And what a cute kid. Her name's Allison. Allison says to me, like, you know, she came up and gave me a hug, and then she goes, you know, I already love you. Great. And what a cute kid. And it was fun just sitting there, watching them have Christmas, and just kind of, sometimes you got to start over even with family. And going on almost a decade of being clean and sober, you you really look at the universe differently. And it's so fun. It's so fun at something when something comes up controversial, or something that's none of my business. And having it not be your business sometimes the most beautiful thing. But hey, look, when you start spending our tax dollars, when you start spending our tax dollars inappropriately, I mean, we're taxing people out of their homes so this guy can live better. If you take what's going on at the national level and put Topeka under a microscope, there's not much difference. And you better start coming to the realization of that. And I'm not gonna stop talking about Jetto, because the voters don't really know about Jetto. Some of them. What is Jetto? What is it? And when the economic development was put on the ballot and passed, they created a joint economic between the county commissioners and 4 city council people, and the mayor and the deputy mayor are always on it, and then 2 people at large are voting members, but the whole council can come. And if you ever want to know anything about anything in the city, talk to Karen Hiller, because she knows everything. She does. And she's getting educated. What's really neat is she's learning all about what it's like to run a hotel, and at our expense, at the voters' expense. And I'm telling you, I called this a long time ago. I can't wait till I get my studio really up and going, where we can play clips and go, hey, I told you so. Uh-oh. Now my big heater's about here to turn on. I hope I don't lose you in the volume. I installed like there was a vent there. It was perfect. Didn't have to make a roof penetration. College Hill Plumbing came in. The gas line was there. Here we are. And this new heater in here really, it really takes care of the whole thing. I hope you can hear me over that. Then I got a big wind mover, and I can just push all this air. I turn off the gas heater that I've got in there, so it'll be a little cooler at night. But I got the blankets on the bed. Jetto. So the next 2 votes that we can take over are Bill Rapon's Jetto vote and the mayor's Jetto vote. Those are the next elections coming up. So we've got to get people lined up to take those. I don't foresee myself moving into Bill's district. I would like to buy some land over on the west side, but I'm not married to that. I don't mind going east. If you go out 2nd Street all the way to Douglas County, there's some neat views, vistas out there along the river. But I really got to know District 2 pretty good. And I've really got to feel what I really noticed more than anything after the campaign is you see the difference between the voter, the elected officials, and the ruling elite. And let's go back to where I want to. You got to always go back to the beginning, and the beginning is when we first passed it, the economic development money, it was to make land shovel ready. And the whole goal was to grow the population and increase the tax base. And if anybody, if the deal, man, I just got a message from Tyler Weibel. He's up. Maybe he's watching. He's my landlord down here at 520, one of the Weibel property development projects. And I'd like to thank Tyler for hiring MCRE Media to, we got him a new logo and we're getting him some website up, and we're going to work on some press releases. And I'll tell you where I'll thank Tyler. The other day, he just stopped by the office, and it was almost like kicking me in the ass. Like, let's write down all your projects. And we cleaned off the whiteboard, and it came to, I think it was 38 projects that I'm working on right now. And since then, we've grown a couple, because you can get on a phone call and say, "What up?" And the next thing you know, you got a project. What up? Or a deal comes through. Hey, Barry. No, okay. Hey, Barry. Merry Christmas. I guess we got to start talking about Happy New Year. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about Christmas, because how many times you always say that's the best Christmas I ever had, but this was the best Christmas I ever had, and I'm going to tell you why. Because like a little kid, like, think about it. Oh man, that was cool what Allison did today. My grandniece, she wrote letters to everybody. And man, how many times, when's the last time you wrote somebody a letter and put a stamp on it, mailed it? It's 78 cents now, I think. But now I think whenever you buy a stamp, it's a forever stamp. So that the rate that you buy it is good forever. And I don't care if you paid somebody 78 cents and say, "Hey, look, carry this to my daughter in Kansas City." Well, for 78 cents, that ain't a bad deal. But I wonder how much the post office really loses today. Okay, I digress all the time. But back to Christmas. What I loved about Christmas was reconnecting with my niece and her family, and being welcomed in, and just meeting good kids and good people. And what I really loved about my niece was the fact that she had some like pictures of the past. And man, I love the history. You've got to know the history, because that way you can look forward further, better, and more educatedly. And Allison's sitting there. I mean, she's like in fifth grade. She goes, "Hey, can I get your phone number?" Yeah. And she's got an iPhone. Okay. And I texted her some pictures that we took. And I asked her for a zip code, because I do want to write my niece. And I got my niece some of my sister's paintings. Her mom, my sister was the most, well, number one, she's just one of the most beautiful people ever, rest her soul. But she could paint, and she could paint in watercolors. And so when I look at her painting, she still lives. Her life still lives. And I thought about what was really wild when I was at Grace Cathedral over Christmas. I thought about my sister's second husband's funeral. His name was Dale Ewer. And Dale had he was a professional bowler. And I'll never forget my mom and stepdad just haranguing my sister and Dale Hey, MD, how you doing? Merry Christmas, MD. MD's working. MD's part of the MCR media team. And real quickly, what MD does, he downloads all my live videos, and then he puts a search engine optimization. He puts the graphics on it, and then loads it up to YouTube. And if you want to go back through the archives of Henry McClure Live, you can go to my YouTube channel, like and subscribe, please. And but Dale, when Dale died, there wasn't a seat. There wasn't a seat available for one more ass in um, Grace Cathedral. There was not. I mean, nobody else would fit. And he had a, if you know about newspapers, he had it's what's called a double truck. Like when you open it up, it's on both sides, full pages. His the article they wrote on him. Oh, and Jamie actually, I think he rolled a 300 in the Philippines. He had some big bowling thing going on in the Philippines, and I'm so happy that MCRE Media, we're international. We're an international company, and what I really like about it, I hate to admit this, is like I can work 24 hours. Like I shouldn't, but if I need to work, I got staff going. Harry Colmary used to work 24 hours, and he had a staff in Washington during World War II that worked 24 hours. Yeah, thank you, MD. But my favorite part of Christmas, bar none, was I made this collage of photographs of my daughter and things that happened, and it's full of just our life. And I'd hope, and making the Christmas present. I mean, to me, it was fun making it. I got to think about all of it, and so I went to Hobby Lobby. I got all the stuff. I asked them how to do it. Bought a frame. Oh, ran into my old friend Barry at Hobby Lobby, who used to be, I'll say, my bartender and a friend of mine's bartender. Remember Outback? Oh, my friend used to like to drink so much. Um, See, there's anonymity with my stories. He kept his own bottle of Chopin vodka there, and I didn't care about that much. Back then I was a Johnny Walker Black, but I always worried about the bartenders and waitresses, their financial future once I got sober. Oh, and now let's go back to New Year's Eve because I went to Kiku's and I used to drink a lot in Kiku's. And I ran into Ian, who owns it. We got to sit at the sushi bar. I ran into Nate, who voted for me for county commission, and he wanted to congratulate me on my win because hey, he goes, "You should have won," but that's okay. I won in so much as that I still am in the real estate business. I should have never. Um, well, but no, I was glad that I said that I won't be in the real estate business if I'm going to be a county commissioner. No conflict of interest. I mean, the when you get up to the chamber level and the conflict of interest that they have for managing all the leads that come into this town and economic development and who gets what, it's a scam. It's a shell game. It's not fair. It's pay to play. Um, the, as a real estate broker, if all the leads go to the chamber and they're not doled out fairly, it's not, it doesn't work for me. And I want to change it because you know why? We need to take the economic development money and just put it into infrastructure. Let people pay their own way. Every deal should stand on its own. With TIF and CID, we can develop the community. We don't need grants, gifts, and a corrupt system. We don't need $2.5 million. We don't need to pay $2.5 million, which I say is 3.5, for them to administer $5 million. It's wrong. Hey, if you went to a bank and that was part of your business plan, well, look, I'm going to borrow 5 million from you, and 2.5 of that is just to go to operations. It doesn't have anything to do with sales. And on top of that, they don't even have to perform. But back to Kiku's, you're going to have to you're going to have to pick up your game. You're going to have to learn the jargon. You're going to have to learn what Jetto is. You're going to have to be able to keep up with me going down my tangents. But Kiku's, oh man, got to sit at the sushi bar, and Ian spoiled us, and it was just fun to see anybody. And I'm sitting there, kind of sitting where I always sat, and just like all happy. And Bianca goes, "What?" I go, "What do you mean, what?" She goes, "What? What's up?" And I go, "So this is what it's like to be sober and have sushi." Oh, who cares? It was fun. Had a great time. I'm going on 10 years. I am going on 10 years being clean and sober. And you really start, maybe I think what I feel, I mean, this is who I am, but you become the person you're supposed to be. And I was supposed to be this guy all along. And Dana Anderson's always laughing at me. Or we're laughing at each other. We've known each other so long. I told him the other day, I go, we've had like 2 lives together. And the life that we had as a leasing agent for the Macerich company, and then this life. I like this life better, but man, the life I lived at Macerich is what made me who I am today. And hey, and maybe part of the recovery project was part of that. Oh, hydrogen water. Read about it. So I'm following Dr. Gundry, drgundry.com. I'd like to become like affiliate to where I'm advertising his stuff because I live Dr. Gundry. Bianca and I took one of my whiteboards that I got, and we just wrote all the stuff with polyphenols in it. And I've got, from the best to the end. And I'm going to put it up in the kitchen. And I'm kind of a visual guy. If you come to my office, you'll see it. I've got to see it right in front of me to get it. It was like I was telling Bianca Bailey on today. I go, in order for me to learn the vocabulary of real estate, I just had to write it all down. And so be it. But when Bianca opened up her collage, all framed and everything, she almost cried. And I was so moved. It was touching to see her because that's what I wanted out of the gift. I wanted it to touch her. And um, we were at the office on Christmas Eve. We had to stop by there for something. Oh yeah, between sushi and going to church, we kind of hung out for a little while. We had a little extra time, and she hogged the couch and was watching the TV. It's nice. I got a, if you need to rest a little bit, sometimes taking a cat nap in the middle of the day gets you going. But she saw this picture of myself and her on the teacups in Disney World. We were riding the teacups, and when we're on that teacup. We had my mom and Renee, my ex-wife, and I'm on that thing, kind of like hunched over it. And like once you got that teacup going, you could really get it going. And being a gymnast, I got some upper body, and now I'm working on this teacup like you don't know. And people are going, I can hear them going, "Hey, look at that one." And we are going like it. And then I'm looking at Bianca, and she just in the picture, and my mom's having fun. So we get off, and Renee got sick. And my mom goes, "Hey, I got to sit down for a little while. I go, I need to recover." And Bianca and I are going, Bianca's going, "Let's go again, Dad. That was fun." But that's my kid. Oh, look at this. I got this from Bianca. Got some nice, and then I got a nice coat. She's really trying to upgrade um, my wardrobe for Henry McClure Live. So she wants me to throw away those jeans that I've been wearing. And, I bought them. I've lost some weight over time. I'm probably 100 pounds lighter from, the height of my alcoholism. Uh, I just taking care of my mom and hospice and all that. It wasn't the best for me. You know, thank God for guys like Jim Klossman that run those homes. I mean, that's where you need, there's a point in time. But my mom it was hell or high water. She wanted to go out of her house feet first. And she was pretty good to me over my lifetime. My niece, my grandniece Haley, she's saving some boxes at Christmas time. And she's a nurse in Kansas City, and hopefully Bianca and her can just meet up and say hey and be buds, pal around. But oh, I'm saving these boxes, she said. Now that's conservatism. You know, when guys like me, um, my mom was born in 21, my dad in 20. They had to go through the depression as kids. And my mom lived out in Edwardsville at the time. And she goes, "We ate so many chickens, I thought I was going to cluck." But that aside. So onward and upward. Happy New Year. I got a lot of projects. Hey, I really want to do some podcasts with some people. I'd love you to come into the studio and we just talk, We don't have to be political. We just talk about whatever you want. And if you're starting a new business, you want to promote an existing business, if you want to teach somebody a craft or whatever, interested is interesting. I know a lot of really neat people that could come in and say a lot of really neat things. I tried to get Ian to come in. He's telling me he's like just recently, he's been in 70 countries. Wow. And he doesn't want to talk about it. He just wants to do his own thing. And you know something? You got to do that. You got to be that guy. I want to talk about Mike Siegel. MCRE Media is working for Mike Siegel, and Mike is mainly on Instagram, but you've heard me over and over talk about Mace Siegel. Mace was the Mace in Mace Rich. It was Mace Siegel and Rich Cohen, and but the Mace Rich company didn't really flourish until Dana K. Anderson joined them, and Dana K. made Mace Rich. He did. He was really the changing factor between those two guys. I think I think Mace actually got those two guys to vote Republican. You know, Mace was living in New York, and he said Rich Cohen. He went out to the Hamptons to a party that Rich hosted in one summer under a tent. And Dana's been around the block, I'll tell you that. But he said, last time I asked him or we were talking about it, he said, still today, that was the best party I've ever been at. And that would really be saying a lot. If you're curious about Dana K, um, I can get an autographed copy of his book. But I tell you, after I read his book, it really left me hungry for more. And I'll get Dana K for sure in the studio sometime. And for 90, that guy's a whiz. He's driving everywhere, doing everything. It's funny, he drives exactly like I do. Maybe Bianca and Johnny Brown. But it's always different when you're behind the wheel. Oh man, he's got a Mercedes that's got some power. Oh, and Johnny Brown's Porsche, it's a Porsche SUV, that's got some power. So we're on to 2025, and we as citizens, the mantra that I have now is stand up, stand out, or stand aside. But we've got to engage the public. I can't be the only one talking about it. You're going to keep getting what you got if you don't make a change. We got to vote. We got to get rid of Mike Padilla, and we got to get rid of Bill Rapon. We got to have people in there now. And you need to start today. You really do, because those guys are, especially the mayor. The mayor is all part of that machine, the machine of the Greater Topeka Partnership, Go Topeka, the chamber, everybody, those are the people that funded Kevin Cook's election. And Kevin Cook was he's a pawn. You know how pawns look like, they got those round heads. He's a pawn put in front of me just to be in my way. Think about that. The guy that's out there making deals just gave you Chick-fil-A, Whataburger. I've done a lot of stuff. And that's another sickening thing I don't really like about politics, but you got to brag about yourself. When I was a state champion gymnast, you didn't have to. You just went out and won. And hey, that's the attitude I'm taking from now on. I'm putting back on my Mace Rich attitude. I'll never forget when I first joined Mace Rich. It was, just wide-eyed wonderment. You know what? I'm going to look at the world that way. Because like now that we've got a new president that at least is a businessman, I mean, this whole corruption thing, it's been terrible. It has been terrible to think. It's like the Greater Topeka Partnership and Go Topeka and the Chamber, they're no different to me, in my opinion, as the mainstream media. Because it's chock full of good people, but the true ones, like a guy just down the street owns a business. He goes, Henry, I'm on the board of that, but there's just a couple of people that run it. But the AT&T deal is the most self-serving deal I've ever seen. Taking a rich guy who owns I'm going to actually make a Quora request to find out who's all in that building. The guy that made the hotel offer called me up and he goes, well, I don't want you to have egg on your face, but no, I'm not in that AT&T building. But he was at one time. And I think he's working for a front right now. But that's just an opinion of mine. I get to have that covered under the First Amendment. Let's keep investigating it. Let's get the research department to start writing some articles about all this. But the mainstream media, the way they cover things, but think about it. Why would you want to? And look, in the big picture, think about it. The bakery, all the distribution centers, they didn't grow our population, and they haven't lowered that. They haven't lowered your real estate taxes. They haven't broadened the tax base. Hell, I'm over at I like that place, Golden Corral. You can find a lot of good stuff on there, even on Dr. Gundry's diet to eat. You just you gotta pick and choose what you put on the plate. No sugar, baby. You can't eat sugar or anything that turns to sugar. Think about it. I hate to say it. Frito-Lay, look, all they're doing is they're producing stuff that makes you sick. My friend Bruce Berlinger was telling me about Mars. He did a deal with Mars out in California. He bought a sawmill, the mill in up by Mount Shasta. Oh man, he said when you're outside, you can see the satellites go by. But he said you don't give the Mars family, you don't give them corporate welfare. I mean, these are like some of the richest families in the world. I love that. I love that post the other day. I think I shared it about the difference between a million and a billion. It's like a million, if you put it into calendar days, a million's like 6 days, but a billion is like 31 years. The difference between a million and a billion. And then think about Musk having what? Probably 300 billion by now. And what's really cool, so let's just say that capitalism's a game. He's winning. And Trump's got him at his, Trump's helping him, or he's helping Trump. I mean, it's your brain trust, it's your friends who you can rely on, having ideas. And quit calling him President Musk. So what? Tom Sawyer handed out a lot of paintbrushes, but he got the fence painted in record time. Everybody can find a reason to hate anybody. I want to just find out. James Bolton Jr. stopped by the office the other day over at the Glass Houses studio, which is part of the Ryan Mowinkle empire of commercial real estate, home of the State Farm Agency upstairs. Which, by the way, I've insured all my stuff. I've got an office building downtown. I just signed a 5-year lease for the Republican office. I've got this place here at 520. I've got my office over there. Got to get a renter's policy for here. Both my vehicles. And he gave me good numbers. Go by Adams and 21st Street. We got the house out of the way, except there's a homeless guy living in the thicket of woods. And by the way, let's not forget to get that bid to grub the trees. We got to get it. Anybody that's in the excavation business wants to go up against my dear friend Eric O'Neill. I appreciate Eric O'Neill and his family support me during the campaign out in Tecumseh, and met a lot of nice people out there. Oh, it's funny. Well, it's not funny really, but it's true. I've never needed to be politically correct. Okay, there comes the heater. Because all my customers are Trumpers. They're Trump fans. They are capitalists. Hell, some of my best customers never knew I was an alcoholic and had a drinking problem. God bless you. Oh, I got to tell you, last thing, I think tonight, Father Story over at Grace Cathedral, best sermon ever. Now, last Sunday was a little bit of a clunker, but he outshined himself. I was telling Bianca about the clunker, and I go, that was a good message. That's probably the best sermon he's ever done. She goes, well, he had a lot to make up from. Her outlook. She's coming on a year of being clean and sober. Did it on her own. Just didn't want to wake up feeling bad anymore. Oh, saw Karen Hiller at church. She's in there. And Bernie Van Stone was there. Sammy Karkoff was running the board in the back. Oh, he remembers Bianca from day one. Or I've always liked the Karkoff family. They're an interesting bunch. Tim Karkoff used to lease space down in the Liberty Building. I loved officing in the Liberty Building. Dennis Kinney owns that building. Super nice guy, dear friend. And like down in the bottom, there was a shower. And I got to keep my bicycle there. And so like during the day, I could go take a bike ride, shower up, go down to the Y, now Great Life, and get some swimming in. That was good. Because what I do, it's not a job. It's life. So remember, the best revenge in life is to live well. So let's do that. Let's all live well. All right. That's all I got. 44. We're going to close off at 44:44. Good night.